Sports page with the Orlando Sentinel and FM 96.9 The Game's Mike the Bulldog Bianchi
on JRR.
Mike the Bulldog Bianchi sports page is brought to you by Kaufman and Lind Injury Attorneys. Bulldog will return on Monday from his vacation. Taco Bob, how about we start with some local sports, and then we'll conclude with all the stuff from Olympics and the recap from yesterday's action and kind of a preview of what's going on today.
Here's some good Olympic stuff. Ready for it. Okay.
Fans packed into Camping World Stadium last night to see Manchester City take on Barcelona in a friendly. It was delayed about an hour because of the rough weather that moved through parts of Central Florida yesterday, but in the end, got off without a hitch and ended with a 2-2 draw.
Yeah, so friendly that they decided on a draw.
Hot and steamy there in Camping World Stadium.
The people were pumped, though. I told you I saw some footage of everybody walking into the stadium before the storms came, and they were coming from all over the world.
Looks like the Tampa Bay Rays will end up with a new stadium in St. Pete yesterday. After a vote was made 5-2 by the county, Pinellas County, to approve spending about $312 million for its share of this new ballpark and its costs. That will be paid for by revenue generated by a bed tax that can only be spent on tourist-related and economic development expenses, similar to what we see happen here in our part of Central Florida. But combine that with the other money that has been pledged, and it looks like this new ballpark potentially could be ready to rock in a couple of years.
28, right?
Yep, and keep the Rays locked in to Florida. There had been some other proposals floating around out there, including the split season between St. Pete and Montreal, which Major League Baseball had rejected. And then there was the thought of moving and building a stadium more closer to actual Tampa Bay. But no, they'll remain very close to where they are now and have been for quite some time. It'll be a 30,000-seat stadium with retractable roofs.
It looks good. They like the models for it.
Meanwhile, the Rays went out and beat the Marlins in the interstate rivalry 9-3 yesterday. The two teams will square off again today. Let's do some NFL news here. From training camps around the league, the Chicago Bears and receiver DJ Moore reach a 4-year, $110 million contract extension, making that the largest extension in Bears franchise history. DJ, quite happy, I'm sure. The Bears will face the Texans tomorrow night in the Hall of Fame game from Canton, Ohio. Yes, that's already here 1 week into training camp. None of the Bears starters will play in that game.
That's why when you and the boss, Rick, were getting excited about it yesterday, I was like, I don't mean to be Debbie Downer here, but what do we say about a couple weeks into it? We go, well,
It's preseason.
Yeah.
More New York Jets news. Coach Robert Saleh says his instinct is telling him to sit Aaron Rodgers for the entire preseason. Definitely not playing in the first two preseason games. They're still trying to decide on the third game. The final tune-up before the regular season starts would be against the Giants. Saleh says ultimately it'll be Aaron's call as to if he'll see any action in that final preseason game.
I'd sit him. I know you need the practice, but you can do that in a, you know what I'm saying, off to the side, just throwing drills with people.
Still doesn't rival what it's like in real game conditions.
I know, but he's got nobody defending him, and
he's going to have to get on the field at some point. So it'll be interesting to watch to see how that all develops. Lions veteran defensive end John Kaminsky tore the MCL in his right knee during practice yesterday. His status possibly back in time for the playoffs should the Lions make it that far. The Olympic news, let's see, I guess the big story is after fear that the triathlon event was going to have to ditch the swimming portion, it will go on. The water quality in the river there in Paris was deemed adequate for the swimmers to get in there and get into the triathlon, which was postponed. It was originally supposed to be yesterday, so it'll be getting underway today.
Isn't the big news like Simone and all the girls getting the gold?
It is. The U.S. women's gymnastics team. The comeback is complete. the team does win the gold medal in the team activities, marking the USA's fourth Olympic gold medal of the Paris Games. The U.S. women's rugby sevens team also made history on Tuesday in a 14-12 comeback victory over Australia to win bronze, their first ever in the Olympic. So the women's rugby team, they had to play New Zealand first, right?
Okay.
They got pounded pretty handily as New Zealand is the best team in the world, and they went on to win the gold. But that moved the women into the bronze medal game later in the day, and they
pulled it off.
Won it on the last play of the game.
Good job.
Congrats to them.
New Zealand has that little beast, right? That one lady who I told Pat yesterday, I go, if that lady was coming at me in rugby, I would run as fast as I could the opposite direction.
Just a brute.
Yeah, she's good for her, man.
So there you go with that. USA also picked up 4 medals in the pool. Reagan Smith and Catherine Burkhoff won silver and bronze in the women's 100-meter backstroke. Bobby Fink picked up a silver in the men's 800-meter freestyle. Team USA also raced to silver in the men's 4x200-meter freestyle relay final. The U.S. men's soccer team advanced to Olympic quarterfinals for the first time in 24 years. Not a great day for USA 3x3 basketball. Both the U.S. men and women's teams suffered a loss. Let's see what else we got here. The men's basketball team will be playing today against South Sudan. That's the team they almost lost to in the final tune-up, next to last tune-up before the Olympics actually started. That'll be at 2:45.
That's the team that LeBron said, I like teams like this that challenge us.
Yeah. So we'll see if they are able to maybe crank it up a notch or two against South Sudan. Again, 2:45 on that. U.S. women's soccer, U.S. versus Australia. That's at 1 o'clock today. 4:30, more swimming, men's 200-meter breaststroke final, and the men's 100-meter freestyle final. Some of the events to maybe take in today if you want to watch them live.
I'll admit, last night I did actually, remember how I told you I haven't watched any? I had the Olympics on, and I was waiting for surfing to come on, but I didn't get to quite see it.
Do you know where they're holding the surfing events?
It's in a different country. I want to say, is it not Taiwan? Tahiti,
halfway around the world in Tahiti, a French Polynesia territory. So
I have buddies who have done surf trips to Tahiti. It's insane.
Shaka bra.
Yeah,
that's your sports page for this morning.
Lynch and Taco on